Welcome to Topics of Today, a new virtual weekly series from Williamson, Inc. My name is Matt Largen. I'm the president and CEO of Williamson, Inc., the county's Chamber of Commerce and Economic Development organization, and excited to have you here today. On the last episode, we talked about the importance of SBA loans and how those can immediately help your company. And today, we're going to talk about how to strengthen business ties and even continue to develop business ties during this crisis. Before we get started, though, I want to thank AP Live for their generous support of their studio space for this series. If your business has any need for studio space or if you need to record a message for your employees, I encourage you to get in touch with AP Live. They're a great corporate partner, a great partner of Williamson. So thank you, AP Live, for that. I greatly appreciate that. I want to continue to encourage you to visit our website that we've built to help you respond to this crisis. It's williamsonchamber.com/coronavirus. There are some great resources for you, for your business, for your employees. There's even a new mental health tab on the site as well. So I encourage you to check out that website, look at the resources we built for you and for your employees. I mentioned earlier about SBA loans. The Paycheck Protection Plan actually went into effect late last week. If you're a Williamson Inc. member, you received an email about that with step-by-step instructions. I strongly encourage you to contact your lending institution to take advantage of that. Kel McDowell, our Director of Government Affairs, is the caseworker for anything SBA, so reach out to him. He's Kel, K-E-L, at williamsonchamber.com. But please contact your lender about the Paycheck Protection Program. I also want you to know that the Williamson Inc. team is busy planning for the future, and we actually have a number of events planned for April, virtual events. So I encourage you to go to our events calendar, check those out, sign up and register for those events, and stay plugged in for your business and for your community. And again, let me say too, our team is here to help you through this crisis. So if there's anything we can do collectively or individually, please reach out to any one of our team members. We are here to help. Today's guest is J.P. Cowan. J.P. Cowan is a principal at TMPartners. TMPartners is an architectural design firm in Brentwood. Thank you, J.P., for being here. I greatly appreciate it.
Thank you, Matt. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah. So a few weeks ago, you and I were talking. It was basically one of the check-ins of how our businesses were doing. And you talked about the importance of building and developing and maintaining those client relationships, since most of your business comes from existing clients, which is pretty typical in Williamson County. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So let me take a step back from that, though, and let's talk about your company. What are your guiding principles when it comes to client relationships? What kind of values from TMPartners are reflected or exemplified in the way that you treat your clients?
Yeah, certainly. So we start or end every Monday morning meeting that we have with keep our clients happy. And that can mean a lot of things to a lot of people. We don't prescribe what that is because everybody values things differently. So we ask folks to kind of practice empathy, really understand what it is that our clients and people are trying to achieve. And in doing so, then really step it up or provide, just service as far as responsiveness and service and professionalism. That's standard, but really go one level above. And when we can do that, have magic moments, we know we're doing excellent service for our clients.
Oh, that's great. What's one thing that you do that sets you apart from your competitors?
So, most of our work is repeat work. As you mentioned, that's common in our industry, but 95% of our work is repeat work, which is a little bit higher than the standard. So I think we maintain those very close relationships with the folks we do business with. We are selective about who we do business with. I think a lot of others do that, but we very much pride ourselves in that and stay close to our folks.
So you mentioned this earlier. Just remind me again, how much of your business is repeat business? You said 95%. Has it always been that way at TMPartners?
It's been that way for probably as long as I can remember. A very high repeat work.
What do you you mentioned responsiveness. Is there anything though that is that's key when it comes to responsiveness to your clients? What would you distill out of that as being incredibly important for you?
Yeah, you certainly have to listen, of course, and listen and understand, again, the empathy I mentioned, what your clients are trying to achieve. And when you listen is get back to them. And even when you don't know an answer or response is, I've heard you, we are working on this, and we're going to get back to you.
What are some of the core values that are important to TMPartners?
So, we as a business, we're very tight-knit. Again, we've talked a lot about clients, but But with our clients comes from our people. So we put a high value on all of our staff. We're a family-like culture, very tight-knit, and that's important to who we are.
Now, that's really important. So as we started to have this conversation about what kind of things you were doing, when you and I had the phone call, you were meeting that afternoon with the leadership team to talk about that very topic. So what did you all come up with? What did you decide? What strategies did you come up with to strengthen those business times in a time of social distancing?
Yes, certainly. So, I think all business is relational in everything you do. We talked about this a little bit earlier. I heard a marketer say they were going to stop using B2B or B2C. It's B2H, business to humans, because we're all working with people. And so, again, understanding kind of what it is that folks are trying to do, regardless of what your business is or how big it is important. And, at this time when we're all kind of fragmented and have some isolation, it's really important to communicate, reach out to folks, not just email, but call them and check in. How are things going? It's not just business, no tone-deaf emails and marketing brochures. This is not the time for that, but it's how can we help you? We're here still working with you, for you, and what else can we do to help?
This wasn't on the list we talked about, but have you seen a lot of tone-deaf emails? And I don't want you to identify the one in particular. We don't want to embarrass anybody. But what do you think those companies are getting wrong when they're not really talking about the here and now? What are they missing?
Yeah, I think that's it. It's not here and now. So it's being present. This is affecting everybody worldwide. So you have to understand that. And we are in this together. There are no socioeconomic differences here. This virus does not care. So again, I think it's being human and personal is important. And any communication you have, whatever your business plan and business development plan was, you have to adjust it to have that in mind.
So after your leadership team meeting, what were some very specific concrete things that you all put in place that maybe you hadn't done before or were going to do to really strengthen and build those relationships, especially with your repeat customers?
I'm proud to say that what we're doing is probably not much different than before because, again, things are relational. But it is an emphasis on that please, call out all the folks that you're doing business with or have done business with to just check in. How are things going? And so we want to make sure that not just the leaders, but all a staff member understand that, and it's important. And to call in and check in on each other because that's also important.
Yeah, talk a little bit. Well, actually, we'll get to that later because I think that's really important is how you treat each other, how you treat your team members through this process. What do you think, though, in terms of because you're a larger company, professional services firm, what kind of advice would you give to companies that are smaller, say between 1 and 10 employees, when it comes to developing and building these client relationships in crisis?
Yeah, I think there are some universal truths to some marketing and business development. Maybe the tools change or how you implement those things change depending on your scale, but it's understanding what it is your end user, client, or person needs and what it is that you're providing for them to help. And I think regardless of your size, making that connection and, again, being relational is important.
Can you think about, as you've gone through this process, again, it was a few weeks ago when you and I spoke, have you, any sort of those client interactions, are there things that you've taken specifically from those that came from those check-ins? Not necessarily business, but what have those check-ins yielded for your company and for your team members?
I think we'll probably know that answer later, but I haven't had a phone call check-in yet where somebody said, "Why are you calling me?" Everybody's appreciative of that, and I think it's just having a conversation, again, when we're in isolation and knowing that, hey, I'm thinking about you, and it's not some end goal of a project, but we work together closely, and I do care about you, and I think that's been great to hear folks say, "Thank you so much for calling and checking in."
Yeah, that's good. What else are you hearing on some of these calls from your other colleagues in terms of, in addition to thanking you for checking in, do you still, I know it's not business as usual for everybody, but what's the business outlook look like from some of your clients that you're working with, specifically to the Williamson County economy?
Yeah, certainly. So, we're a professional services in the design industry. We do a lot of healthcare work with Community Health is a Williamson County business, of course, one of our clients. HCA we do a lot of work with. And we also work with some developer clients, Boyle, for instance. So I think business is moving forward right now. In our industry, we'll probably see something happen down the road because this is disruptive to everybody. It's not just an immediate shock as it is to hospitality, retail, and restaurants, but it will affect us. But a lot of folks are still trying to figure out how to get business done and move forward. So we're hearing a lot of positive things from all the clients that we're doing business with right now.
Okay. How are those businesses moving forward? How are they still doing business in this age, like I said, of social distancing? Anything specific that stands out to you that's kind of it's something that's unique or creative or innovative?
You know, I think we're all having to get a little bit creative and innovative. So we're joking a little bit earlier, having a laptop on a dining room table may have been your work from home environment before this, but having a real environment to work from, and it's proven that it can be done. I am certain we'll see some change from this that will be permanent. But we joke we're trying to break the internet, if you will, with all the video conferencing and such going on. I think our clients are doing the same thing. You know, we've had plenty of web conferences with clients to talk through business and try to get things done. So folks are being adaptable and figuring things out.
So at our last First Friday event, we talked about the importance of mental health, and especially the mental health of checking on your team members. So let's talk about that. I think that's really important from a leadership standpoint, and something really stood out for me when we spoke too. You talked about a leader's job during this crisis was to provide hope and to preserve culture. What does that mean to you?
Yeah, absolutely. So, providing hope and preserving culture is certainly important to leaders. You know, folks need to know that there is an end to this. We will come out of this. A lot of folks are anxious. You mentioned mental health. I think there's a lot of strain on a lot of people. So as a leader, you have to shoulder that burden, as much of it as you can, to provide clear, transparent facts about what's going on in your business so folks can say, all right, they got this. And also important to say, look, we are going to work our butts off to get through this, and we're going to make it happen. We may make mistakes. We'll own up to those, but we'll adapt and change and keep working so we get through this. And your culture of your business is culture can be perhaps a mushy word, but it's why you do what you do and how you do it. And so those things, it's important to provide some access and connectivity with everybody so that you still maintain that, because in doing so will make your business keep it strong, and emerging from this will be even stronger. Yeah,
there was a lot of debate about culture and strategy, which one trumps the other. When we had the Mars Pet Care CEO a year or so ago, he was asked that very question. He said, that's easy. Culture trumps strategy all day long. What's your take on that?
I 100% agree, and especially this time of crisis. This is certainly a crisis. I mean, I know we are very fortunate in where we stand with our business today. We've shared that with all of our staff, and in turn they said, we are thankful to be part of this company, and we got each other. As I mentioned before, we're a very tight-knit group, and we're standing together, and of course we're here to help others, including our clients.
I think that's really important. So let's go back about, 10 or 12 years to the 2008-2009 recession. When you and I spoke preparing for this, you talked about how proud you were that you didn't have to lay off a single employee during that last recession. Tell me, aside from the obvious, why was that such an important goal for the company's leadership?
I have to start by saying that we are fortunate with the work we do and our clients we have to weather that time as we did. And we did have to make some sacrifices on certain things perhaps that we could not do. And everybody had to give some things up, including owners. But by doing so, nobody had to give up a lot, such as their job. And it's important to us because of how close we are, how much time we spend building our team, and knowing knowing that there is an end to any situation like that, being able to come out of it stronger will give us returns faster. We like to tell folks that more than half of our staff have worked together for a decade or longer, and that's true. And so that does include part of that financial crisis and that recession time period. And if you think of what that means, I hope it means a lot. And the folks that we do business with, I think, value that.
Oh, that's great. So you mentioned this, but when you hear the term shared sacrifice, either back in the 08-09 recession or right now, what does that mean to you specifically?
I think it means that we all give up a little something, whatever that is, whether it's financial or certain opportunities that we can't pursue or do or participate in, again, for the greater good of the business and ultimately for all the folks and our clients. We don't know what this is going to turn into long term. I think we're pretty confident where we stand today. And we all, I think, hope that this is very short-lived, perhaps steep, but a steep recovery. But I know that it was a time that we all hunkered down back in the financial crisis. And when we came out of it, we were in a great position.
That's great. I appreciate that. And there's a great tool now when we talk about gratitude and the importance of that. And there's actually a company that's in the process of moving their headquarters from New York to Manhattan to Williamson County. It's called Thanks, THNKS. And it's a great company, and it has a great tool to show gratitude. And I think it's really important now as we think about these different tools that your company can use. This is a great option for you as well that's live right now. You can send a cup of coffee. You can send a lunch to somebody that you're doing business with. If somebody has a Zoom call, you can send them lunch. And what's great about this too is you can, as someone who receives the gift, who receives that gratitude, you can choose to actually donate the value of that to your favorite nonprofit. So this is called Thanks, THNKS. Great work from our economic development team, but they are moving their headquarters from Manhattan still actively into Williamson County. So just another tool that people can use to show gratitude and help to build and strengthen those client relationships. So JP, anything else you want to add? Anything maybe I didn't cover when it comes to building and even developing ties in crisis? Anything else that you want to add?
Yeah, I'll just end with, don't stick your head in the sand. For any business leader out there, be aware of what's going on. Be there for your people, your staff, your clients. Listen, communicate. Do all those things. Stay strong, and we will definitely get through this all together.
Great. Well, JP, I really appreciate you being here, taking the time to do this. Thank you for your service to our community, on our board of directors. It's fantastic. So we'll be doing this again next Monday, so make sure you join us at 1 o'clock for the topics of today. I want to thank AP Live for, again, hosting us from their space. And I want to thank you for investing in our community through your investment in Williamson Inc. And before we go, check out this video on exactly what AP Live can do for your business now.
There will always be a need for in-person meetings and gatherings, but sometimes that's not possible.
We still need to work together as teams. We just need to do it in a new way, and we can help facilitate those conversations just all online.
We're able to offer some virtual solutions that are going to allow for that business to still take place and for those important conversations to still happen. Whether it's online polling, whether it's a digital touchscreen, whether it's a fireside chat or a panel, whatever is best going to communicate your message virtually, we can make that happen.
AP Live has been doing virtual meetings for a very long time now. We've been doing them all over the world, and that expertise and that experience is what will allow us to help you communicate your message and be collaborative as we move forward in the digital world.